So, hello everyone, I am Adrien Varret, and this video is going to present the paper Exhaustive Generation of Benzenoid Structures Sharing Common Patterns. It was written by Yannick Carisson, Denis Aguebom-Régnier, Nicolas Perkovic, Cyril Thériault, and myself. And it is a sequel of a previous paper that we published last year in CP. The main topic of this paper is constraint programming applied to chemistry. Indeed, we are working on a specific kind of molecule called benzenoids. Benzenoids are a subfamily of hydrocarbons, so molecules that are only made by carbons and hydrogens, and these molecules have the particularity that their carbons are forming hexagons. If we look at right here, we can see two examples of well-known benzenoids with the benzene at left and the anthracene at right. Moreover, for some reasons, we are not really interested by the hydrogens, so we are not going to represent them like you can see in the following representation. Then in this paper, we are going to talk about patterns. A pattern is a part of a benzenoid having a specific form. You can see right here some examples of these patterns. And on a chemistry point of view, patterns are important. Indeed, it has been proven that they have a direct influence over chemical properties of benzenoids. And in this paper, we are going to see how can we use constraint programming using the library Choco Solver in order to be able to generate benzenoid structures, including or not specific patterns. During this presentation, in the first time, I will make you a little reminder about all the work we presented last year. Then I will give you all the formal definitions related to the patterns, and I will present you several problems related to these patterns, and for each of them, one or many CSP model able to solve them. And I will conclude this presentation by some experimental results. Firstly, for all of our model, we used the library Choco Solver. It is a Java library used to build and solve a CSP model. And the main interest of this library is that it allows us to use a specific kind of variables called the graph variable. These variables will represent a graph and have as domain a set of graphs included between a lower bound and an upper bound. And we can apply to these variables several constraints related to graph, like cycle constraints, connected constraints, or constraints over the number of vertices or edges, etc. And it is the main interest of using this library. Then the hexagon graph of a benzenoid is the graph obtained by replacing each of its hexagon by a vertex. Then two vertices are going to be linked by an edge if and only if the two associated hexagons are adjacent in the benzenoid. And last year, we presented a general CSP model able to generate all the benzenoids having a given number of hexagons. The main idea of this model was to generate all the benzenoids that can be embedded in a coronenoid of a given size. A coronenoid of size n is the benzenoid obtained by adding successively n crowns of hexagons. And in the following example, we can see the coronenoid of size 3 with 3 crowns. And if we want to generate all the benzenoids of n hexagons, we are going to consider the coronenoid of size k of n equal to the integer part of n plus 1 divided by 2 plus 1, because a coronenoid of this size is able to embed all the benzenoids of n hexagons. Then about the variables of these models, the main one are the following one. Firstly, we have xg, a graph variable provided by Choco that will represent the hexagon graph of the generated benzenoid. Then we are going to consider a set XV of Boolean variables. We have one variable for each vertices of the hexagon graph of the chosen coronoid, and these variables will be linked by will be linked to the presence of the vertices of xg in the solution. And about the constraints, we apply firstly a constraint called the channeling constraint provided by Choco that will connect each vertex of xg to a Boolean variable, such that if the hexagon E is present in xg in the solution, then the associated variable xe will be equal to 1 and 0 otherwise. And we also add a connected constraint over xg to make sure that xg is connected. And now we have a general model able to generate all the benzenoids having a given number of hexagons. And if we want to consider additional properties, we can add several blocks of variables and constraints to this general model. Then I am going to tell you a few words about patterns. Like I said in the introductions, a pattern is a part of a benzenoid having a specific form, and they have a direct influence over chemical properties of benzenoids. And I am going to present you the 8 patterns we used for our experimentations. They can be split into 2 different families. Firstly, we have the base represented at left and the protrusions represented at right. Then the next question is, how can we represent a pattern? A pattern can be seen as 3 different sets of hexagons. Firstly, we have the positive hexagons, the hexagons that must be present in the benzenoid, including the pattern. The second one are the negative hexagons, the hexagons that must be absent from the benzenoid, including the pattern. And the third one are the neutral hexagons, so the hexagons that can or cannot be present in the benzenoid. For instance, let's consider the deep B pattern represented right here. As positive hexagons, we have these four hexagons right here. And as negative hexagons, we have these 3 hexagons that are absent from the benzenoids right here. And in the case of the deep B pattern, we don't have any neutral hexagons. Now, to represent a pattern, we are going to represent it by an hexagon graph, the graph I presented you before, but we are going to add a label to each vertices of this graph, such that each positive hexagons are going to be labeled with a plus, the negative one are going to be labeled with a minus, and the neutral ones are going to be labeled with a circle. And we call this new hexagon graph extended hexagon graph, and we are going to represent patterns with extended hexagon graph. And to conclude with these definitions, you can see right here at left on figure A, the extended hexagon graph representing the pattern deep B, and at right on figure B, a benzenoid including this pattern with the 4 positive hexagons in blue and the 3 negative hexagons right here that are naturally absent from the benzenoid. Now I am going to present you several problems related to these patterns, and for each of them, one or many CSP models able to solve them. The first one is the following. Given an integer n and a pattern P, we want to generate all the structures of n hexagons, including the pattern P. To do this, we implemented 3 different models. The first one, denoted MI1, in the main ID, will compute all the possible positions of the pattern in the coronoid. The second one will link each hexagon of the structure to an hexagon of the pattern, and it is denoted MI2. And the third one, denoted MI3, is a method based on a subgraph isomorphism problem. So let's talk about the first model. Remember that we have an integer n and a pattern p as input. The main idea of this model is to list all the possible occurrences of the pattern in the coronenoid. This kind of occurrence are called fragment, and we can compute all the fragments of a pattern in a polynomial time. About the variables, we are going to consider one Boolean variable for each fragment, and these variables are such that if one of them is true, then the associated fragment must be present in the solution. So if we look at the figure right here, we can see some examples of the possible occurrence of the deep B pattern in the coronenoid of size 3, and each of them will be linked to a Boolean variable. So we have, for example, E1, E2, and E3 for these three occurrences, for these three fragments. And about the constraints, firstly, we are going to add a set of constraints specifying that if a Boolean variable is equal to true, then its associated fragment must be present in the structure. So if the variable is equal to 1, then all the negative hexagons of the fragment must be absent from the coronenoid, and all the positive hexagons of the fragment must be present in the coronenoid. And to finish with this model, we add a last constraint specifying that at least one fragment must be present in the structure. It can be easily done by applying some constraints over the set of all the new Boolean variables, specifying that the sum of this variable has to be equal to 1. For the second model, we are going to add to the general model one variable fh for each hexagon h of the chosen coronenoid, such that the variable fh will be equal to 0 if the hexagon h doesn't participate to the pattern P, and otherwise the variable fh will be equal to E if h is if hexagon of the pattern P. And a quick overview of the constraints. Firstly, we are going to use several clauses in order to make sure that the positive hexagons of the pattern are present in the benzenoid and that the negative ones are absent. Then we are going to use a count constraint in order to map each hexagon of the pattern to an hexagon of the coronenoid. And to conclude, we are going to define the neighborhood pattern in order to make sure that it has the right structure using a table constraint. For the third model, we want to find all the possible subgraphs of the hexagon graph of the chosen coronenoid, including the extended hexagon graph representing the pattern P. To do that, we are going to add to the general model a new set of variables, one variable sh for each hexagon h of the pattern P, such that the variable sh will be equal to E if the hexagon h of the pattern is linked to the if hexagon of the coronenoid. Let's see a little example. We have at right the hexagons of the pattern with in blue the positive hexagons and in red the negative one. And for example, the first hexagon of the pattern is linked to the first hexagon of the coronenoid. So we are going to have S1 equal to E. And for the same reason, the third hexagon of the pattern, for example, is linked to the fourth hexagon of the coronenoid. So we have S3 equal to 4, etc. And a quick overview of the constraints. We are going to use all different constraints in order to map each hexagon of P to an hexagon of the coronenoid. Then we are going to use stable constraints in order to make sure that the pattern's edges are preserved. And to conclude, we are going to use several clauses in order to guarantee the quality of the mapping. And to conclude with the single pattern problem, you can see right here some examples of benzenoids, including the pattern deep bay that we are able to generate. And for each of these hexagons, we have in blue the positive hexagons of the deep bay pattern. The second problem is the following one. Given an integer n and a set of patterns, we want to generate all the benzenoids of n hexagons, including all the patterns of the set. To solve this model, we implemented three different models, respectively based on the three previous models I presented just before. It is a kind of a generalization of this first model by considering many patterns instead of only one. And there is an additional problematic when we consider many patterns, that is, how can two different patterns can interact. So there is three possible interactions between two patterns. The first one is that two patterns can share any type of hexagon. The second one is that two patterns can only share absent or neutral hexagons. And the third one is that two patterns cannot share any type of hexagons. And for the two last problems, for the third problem, we have an input, an integer n and a pattern p, and we want to generate all the benzenoids of n hexagons, excluding the pattern p. And the last problem is the following one. We have two integers n and k and a pattern p, and we want to generate all the benzenoids of n hexagons, including k times the pattern p. And for each of these two problems, we implemented one model based on MI1. So about experimentations, we chose to compare the three models used for solving the multiple pattern problems. And we tried to solve 135 different instances. The table right here shows us the results for the first model for the multiple pattern problem with all different heuristic of choice of variables. And we can see that the domain heuristics is the best one. And we observed the same behavior for all other models and also for the models used for the single pattern problem. Then the two plots depicted right here show us the comparisons of the three models used for the multiple patterns problem. And it appears that the first one is the better in most cases. And to conclude with this presentation, I presented you several problems related to patterns that are firstly being able to generate benzenoid including one or many patterns, secondly being able to generate benzenoid excluding a pattern, and thirdly being able to generate benzenoid including several times the same pattern. Each of the models I presented during this presentation are extension of the general model, and it appears that we are able to combine the global properties of the general model and of some other extension with the local properties of the pattern. And about the perspectives, the main one could be to study the chemical consequences of our method, because until now, there wasn't any method able to generate benzenoids, including specific patterns. And secondly, another perspective could be to study other possible interactions between patterns. And on a more general point of view, some perspective could be to consider new properties or study the limits of our models. So that's all, and thank you for your attention.